What's going on, everyone? So, Jake Laravia. I kind of, thinking about Jake Laravia and what he could potentially do, what he could potentially be for this Lakers team. And I really look at kind of the PJ Washington situation with Dallas, right? Nobody was talking about PJ Washington before he went to Dallas, right? Like, PJ Washington was always a good player. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to undersell PJ Washington, but he was another Rui type, right? He was looked at as like, hey, he's a guy that can slot in at the 3 or the 4, but he's probably best at the 4. And he's just a guy like, he go get you 15 to 20 on any given night, right? He's a bucket getter. He's a good player, but he's not a guy that's, game changing in any way, right? And then he went to Dallas. And by going to Dallas, he went to a contending team. He bought in and played a role and was everything that team needed and then some, right? You're talking about a guy that literally went from just essentially looked at as primarily an offensive player to anchoring the defense for that team. He was their best defensive player that year. And he was, like, not my opinion. Again, go look up the numbers. Like, he was excellent for them and a huge component and piece for them when he went from Charlotte to Dallas. And you saw how quickly that team in Dallas changed with the addition of him and Daniel Gafford. There was a stretch and a point that season for Dallas where it was like, are they even going to make the play-in this year? People forget they finished the 5th seed in the Western Conference that year. Right? They were 50-32, which is what the Lakers record was last year. Right? Lakers just had the tiebreaker, so they finished 3rd. Otherwise, Lakers could have probably finished the 5th seed. But point is like PJ Washington changed that team in so many ways because he became a legit two-way player for a team like the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I look at somebody like a Jake Laravia, where, when the Lakers signed Jake Laravia, I got a lot of who is this kid type thing, right? Like, no one was talking about Jake Laravia. No one really knew who Jake Laravia is, right? Like, people weren't, diving into Jake Laravia and whatnot until he became a Laker. Now he's a Laker. Now everyone wants to know who he is. Why? Because he's a Laker, right? And, it was when Lakers Nation did the interview with with Jake Laravia, and Austin Reeves was in the car, and then it was like, oh, and then, fast forward, what was it, a month later, and all of a sudden, and then that's when we started having those conversations. But also, for channels like myself and many others, didn't talk, or at least I can't really speak for others, but I can speak for myself. The reason I didn't really talk about Jake Laravia is because I didn't think that Sacramento was going to let him go. He's the exact kind of player Sacramento needs. Two-way wings. He was a B-plus rated defender, and he was really good for Sacramento before he ended up getting the finger injury, right? I mean, really good for Sacramento. So it was like, wait a minute, you're telling me this 22-year-old, last season, it's 22-year-old kid who's playing excellent on both sides of the basketball, has really great defensive metrics, right, for being so young, and also can self-create, shoot the basketball, score the basketball, be a legit 3-level scorer, 6'8" in size, can slot in either forward position. There's no way Sacramento's going to let that kid go. And then he signed with the Lakers and was like, wait a minute, time out. Let's talk about this for a moment. Right? And we explored the ideas. And even in the videos where I talked about Jake Laravia, I was like, I don't think Sacramento's going to let him go. I think he signs with Sacramento, but hey, would be cool if the Lakers could get him. Right? Because I thought Sacramento would keep him. I didn't even think Jake Laravia was really an option. Because guys like that usually don't become available. Right? I mean, Rob Pelinka even talked about that. JJ Redick talked about that in the presser. They talked about how, to get a guy like Jake Laravia is, it's rare. Usually those type of players that have had the success that he has had at a young age on both sides of the basketball just end up becoming free agents at, 23 years old. Right? And he is. Now he's a Laker. And he's a guy that I'm very high on, that I think the Lakers have something with, can slot into either forward position. He's more of a 3, though, than a 4. He's actually good defending 1 through 3s, but his actual best position are 2s, 3s. Right? 4s, 5s definitely, but 4s are definitely not great defending. Want to clarify that. But 4s, he can be kind of a little rocky on. So he's more of a 3 He's a guy that's best slotted in at the 3, defending 1 through 3. I even did a video on him, and breaking those numbers down for that. But to me, like, I look at Jake Laravia and I'm like, can he have a similar PJ Washington level impact, right? Can he come into a team like the Lakers? The offense will be much easier for him because of Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves. Right? So he's not going to have to work hard offensively. He's going to get set up. Life is going to be easy for him offensively. But then if he can show the growth and continued improvement on the defensive side of the ball, which he himself said, right? Again, he was already a B+ rated defender. And they asked him, what is the one thing you think you improved most on this offseason? And he said himself, defense. He's been working very hard on the defensive side of the ball. If he can move into that A- range at worst, we might have a legit two-way 3-and-D, self-created. We might have Rui with defense. Guy that can knock down the 3 ball, but also self-create, create a little bit for others, while also being able to defend 1 through 4 for you, right? And that would be huge for this Lakers team, just like PJ Washington was for Dallas, right? Because Dallas needed kind of that another 2. They had Derrick Jones Jr., who emerged and evolved into that legit 2-way wing for you. And then, it was like, okay, you just need like one more of those guys. Go and trade for PJ Washington. PJ Washington comes in, plugs in, slots in, and he's exactly that. And, not like super crazy, unbelievably athletic, but like athletic, right? Like, again, I really look at like PJ and the impact that he had with Jake Laravia. I think Jake Laravia has more upside because he's just so younger. He's like 3-4 years younger. So I definitely think there's more upside. But I'm talking about just like the immediate impact and like the change to that team and what that brought. I think you could see a Jake Laravia having a similar change and impact. I think you could get something similar to those lines. And I think that could be huge for this Lakers. I mean, again, that could be the difference. That could be exactly what this Lakers team needs, right? Like if Jake Laravia, I've talked about it all offseason, right? Like Lakers need a legit 2-way wing. Jake Laravia might end up being that for you, which is why I want to wait and see kind of how does this progress, right? Like, why pony up and go sell the farm for an Andrew Wiggins if Jake Laravia is the answer? Right? Now, I'm not saying that maybe you don't go get an Andrew Wiggins still, even if Jake Laravia is the answer, because you might want Andrew Wiggins' experience or whatever, right? But Jake Laravia can answer that for you. I think you're in good shape. And the experience you'd have with LeBron, I mean, even DeAndre Ayton's been in NBA Finals. Austin Reeves has experience at this point. Luka Doncic has been to an NBA Finals, right? Like, I think you'd have enough experience. But anyways, always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you don't like this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. If you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.